Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today I will be doing a little bit of building and basing. Just 1 second, actually. Okay. Alright, that's better. Alright, so yeah, today I will be building some models and working on some basing. So specifically, these are some miniatures from the game Malifaux by Weird Games. I built them a few weeks ago on stream, but we got some random tree creatures, and then we got a swamp witch and a little voodoo doll here. And before I paint them, I will be getting all their basing and stuff set up. Mostly because just like you can see the way that their feet are. It's just a bunch of like random branches, which kind of makes it hard to like stick a pin in them. And then, you know, when I try and put them on the base later, it's just a little guy. Yeah, this guy's even smaller. When I try and put them on the base later, it'll be hard to paint and make the base around this guy's feet because the feet are such an unusual shape. Like this guy's another example as well. Oh no, my sleep! You have to get more than 2 hours of sleep this night, Dark Mage. What am I doing for the bases? Yeah, so the bases are going to be building out some swamp bases. So I'll be using cork to build up like areas of higher ground, and then I'll be using like water texture and stuff to fill out the area. Thank you, Dark Mage. 2 months? Let's go. Nah, time to party. Hey, yo. A second thought, who needs sleep? Oops. I got these, which I'll pull them out. I don't know if this will do exactly what I want. Everyone does, it's very important, yo. Sleep first, then come to stream. So these are small glass balls. Let's see if I can get one out here. And what these are used for is going to be for like small bubbles in the water to, again, make it look like a bubbling, oozing swamp. But first, I have to kind of sculpt the area. Sculpt some like areas of higher land. Apply some texture paints. Glue the model on, paint it, you know. It's not healthy running on caffeine and hope. As long as it's caffeine, hopes, and dreams. You also need your dreams in there. It's a very important part. I hear running is healthy, yo. Exactly. Alright, so this guy will have a little bit of land to, like, stand on. But again, to make this a little bit more... to make this look a little bit better, I'm going to be scraping away some of this cork. So you can see I already... Wait, is this guy's? I already started it on this half, where you can kind of... You can scrape away parts of the cork and leave this, like, random rocky textured look to it. It helps make it more like a rock outcrop instead of just like a piece of cork. But since I am going to have him standing on it, I have to make sure I don't scrape away too much. And then we'll also use texture paint to build up the ground a little bit to kind of to meet the height of this cork. From my fridge. To and from my fridge, yo. The peak of health. Now, another thing that's kind of important is you can either use something like a PVA glue or like a gloss varnish to go over the cork. It kind of helps lock it in because you can see like it's fairly crumbly, especially since we were like pulling and scraping away layers. So you can kind of come in here and like, and this'll dry clear. But we can kind of give it a coating, and this will protect it and keep it it'll keep it in the shape that we want, right? So it stops like deteriorating. Oops. I should have waited for it to finish setting to the base first. Maybe I should have just used super glue there. What kind of hobby news are we dealing in? And that has to sit for a while. In addition to this, I have another box that I got. The drama kind is preferred, but I'm down for anything. Nice. I'll try to... Yo. Outside of actual news, I have some personal hobby news. Alright, let's hear it. For the rest of the edition? Why? What's up? Going old world? Sheesh. Okay, okay. What faction caught your eye? Yeah, what spurred the switch? For this model, I'm just planning on having him like standing out of the water with a few pieces of like higher land scattered around the base. So he won't be standing on anything. Irrelevance. Used the word switcheroo 3 times at my day job this week. It made me cringe. Oh no. Too much. Do not send me to the Shadow Realm. I'm too young. Yeah. Yo. It got caught by Automod. I wonder what happened. 40K Club I go to every Monday. The new guy. Oh no. Yo. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry that happened. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry that happened to you. Well, I'm glad you're using this as an opportunity to expand into new areas of the hobby. I hope you find it refreshing. Old World um, is a lot different from 40K, so it should be a great experience to also um, help you improve as like a hobbyist. One thing that um, one thing that can help you as like a painter and a hobbyist is like painting a lot of different models that you wouldn't normally paint, because it can help you. Yeah, it helps you learn new techniques. You can learn new ways of new styles of painting. Yeah, you can find new groups to play with too. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It really is too bad that that your old group isn't working out anymore. Open to faction suggestions. Knowing when to stop doing things that aren't fun just means you get to relive the excitement of something new. That is true. This is an excuse to buy more models. I mean, not that you needed one. Are there dinos? Are the dinos old world? There are old world dinos. Actually, are they? They were. There were old world dinos. I don't know if they brought them back. Tomb Kings are great. Yeah. I thought about doing Old World, and the way that Games Workshop can get me to do Old World is if they do a release for Tomb Kings similar to what they did for the Grand Cathay. Um, new models that look great. Because I love Tomb Kings. I think it's a great like vibe for the army. It's really cool, I think. Grand Cathay is also really cool. I considered buying them when they had the release show. That was awesome. I love the models. Also, if they release something like Vampire Coasts, I'd go all in. I'd go all in for Vampire Coasts. Give me some of those Vampire Coast models, and I'll eat them up. The only thing is, I don't know when the Grand Cathay stuff is actually going to be released. Because it was announced at Adepticon, but I haven't heard anything else about it, like when it's actually going to be on pre-order. This guy's so awkward because the base has like a lip, right? And this guy doesn't fit in the lip. Like his feet are too wide even for like the base that he's supposed to be on. Which is kind of annoying for like building up a base around him. Maybe I'll just do a similar thing to this guy's base, where I just have like, he's gonna be standing in the water. Should I just trim his toenails a little bit? Cut off a little bit off of it so that he fits on. These are the square bases? They are the square bases, yes. Frogs? Where did you see frogs? Bretonia is cool with the Pegasus Knights. I also think it would be I also think it would be cool for like from like a freehand point of view, where you would be able to do like knight heraldry on like the shields and stuff, which could be fun. Arcane Frogs? Yes, I did see that they released the Arcane Frogs. Sadly, I think they're still in resin, which is sad, because they released some old world wizards and frogs, but they're in resin, which is like, man, release them in plastic, bro. give me the plastic models. Come on. Yeah, the Arcane Frogs. They do look really cool. I liked the frogs, and I also loved the wizards that they released. They had there were some really cool wizards. Yeah, I'm just gonna chop his toe off a little bit to get him to fit on the base. This one too. It'll be underwater a little bit, so like I won't even be able to tell. That's gross, yeah. Let me see these. Yeah, the arcane frogs. Didn't the Empire of Man get a few new models? I don't remember. If I'm honest, I haven't paid a lot of attention to old world news. Yeah, and the most exciting thing for me was the Grand Cathay release. So, um, but I think they did get they got one because they've done orcs, they've done dwarves, they've done high elves, they've done I think they did Empire. They did Bretonia and the Tomb Kings. And I think they did one more because I think they said that they were going to bring back 7 armies. An incredible model? Which one? I did used to collect the old Empire. That was my old world army when the back when it was just Warhammer. Because I'm old like that. My fingers. Yeah. The Griffin models were really cool. I mean, the Griffin models now are cool. Let's see this thing. Yeah. He was a banger. And they got there's like a battle mage on Griffin as well. And it's a 2-headed Griffin, which is like two heads, 2 times as cool. Another really good one is I don't know if they brought it back, but the engineer on Mechanical Steed is really cool. I had that one, and then I actually still have this one. Because it was one of my favorite models, but this is the Bright Wizard. This is old. This is one of the old pewter models. So it's made of metal. But yeah, really cool model here from the old Empire range. I don't know if they're bringing this one back. I think this was like a This is like a limited edition Bright Wizard model that they did like a while ago. Yeah. I keep him around because he's really cool, but yeah, the Empire's another one where like if you wanted to do like some like cool designs with their uniforms and stuff, you could do that. Um, lots of fun options with the with like their shields and stuff. They also have some fun knights. Um, like your classic heavy cavalry medieval knights type of deal. Um, that are pretty cool. Nice. I can get the Green Knight model for a nice retro metal mini. Nice. Yeah. The Green Knight's really cool. Um, the there's a couple of nice models with the Bretonnia range. Ooh. The only thing I'm not a fan of is like the peasants personally. Like the cool thing about the Bretonnia is like the Pegasus Knights and like the really cool knight models, and so like having a bunch of peasants just kind of, I'm like, bro, why can't I just have all knights? Why can't I have just knights, huh? Why do I gotta bring peasants along? Bretonnia loves everyone except the peasants, exactly. Oops. This is another model that just doesn't quite fit on the base. Like, bro. But yeah, let me know what you decide. I think it'll be. I'd love to hear what I'd love to hear what you go with. I'll definitely be seeing pictures in Discord. All right, good. All right. I'm just gonna apply a coat of this glue over top. I don't know if you can see it super well, but you can see some of the areas where the glue has dried. It's kind of just like a clear coat over top of it. Provides a layer of protection and like makes it easier to paint too. It's like it creates like a nice smooth surface. You can also do this kind of thing with like gloss varnish and stuff. I just have the glue out because I'm using it. I think it's also just a little bit thicker. Works a little bit better on stuff like cork to create like a nice protective layer. Kind of seal it in. Make sure you don't have random pieces of cork like flecking off while you're trying to paint it. Or if you like touch it. Because this does, as you've been seeing, I haven't really been using any tools on the cork. I've literally just been like scraping it away with my fingers, so if you like handle the model too much, it'll disintegrate. Does the cork hurt the brush? No. it's just kind of hard to paint. The cork can kind of like absorb the paint a little bit. And yeah, like I said, especially in the areas where I was like scraping away to like create texture and to like shape it, you can start to pull away chunks with your brush, which, you know, then it doesn't get painted because you have like cork. You just have that cork color underneath, right? And yeah, I just spent time building up these like small land masses. I put time into their shape. Like, I want them to stay that way. Leave those to dry. I decided for the big guy, I'm not gonna do anything. I'll just have a little bit of texture paint. He'll be like kind of wading through the water, and yeah, he takes up like 90% of the base anyway. There's not a whole lot I could put on there to begin with. It'll just have some cool water texture on it to make it look like it's a swamp. Now to get to the new models here. These came yesterday, I think. They kind of fit with the theme of the swamp models and stuff. These are like forest fey creatures. So they're pretty cool. And undead henchmen, some like tree knights, a giant snake, and then this model, Titania, which I am actually planning on using this model instead for Titania. It's an alternate sculpt that they released that I just think is cooler. So I'll be using that one instead. Also, if you wanna see a cool model, again, there's an alternate sculpt for Titania called it's part of the Iconic series from Wild Games, and it's called, I think it's called the Autumn Fey Queen. Sorry, it's just called the Fey Queen. If you want to look it up, it's pretty cool. The snake is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. He's a thick boy. Think I found it? The Old World's army that you're going to be starting? No, the fake Wii model? Yeah. Yeah, so it's a part of the Iconic series. And essentially what that means is that they give you two models. One that's like a larger scale, almost it's like a small statue. And then the other one's the game, like the actual game scale model. I'm planning on getting that one at some point. But it's I would have to agree. It's a pretty iconic model. You would have to pay both, yeah. I mean, have to, right? Get the paint both. But, yeah. But I think it says the sizes, and I might be a bit dramatic by saying it's a statue, but I only said that because it doesn't really go with the game, and it's not like a bust, right? Like it's the full model. I don't know. But I think that's a cool thing to do, right? Where they're releasing alternative sculpts, and they're like, hey, here's a larger scale one just for like display, if you want, because they're cool. That's one thing that I think Malifaux does very well, is they have a lot of counts as. So like lots of alternative sculpts, lots of potential models that all are completely valid for the game. They just count as a specific model in the game's terms. Which I think is nice for like hobbyists and collectors. So essentially, you don't run into the situation where you're like, oh, these old models that I have are useless. Like I can't use them. cough cough at Games Workshop. who famously kind of gets rid of rules for older models. And who really pushes for like WYSIWYG and stuff. Speaking of other games, though, I like Trench Crusade. I saw things on Trench Crusade where it was kind of similar to the Malifaux stands, where they have like a pretty lax. They have pretty lax rules for like what they allow for, you know, for models that you use in game, right? Like they're like, we don't even care if it's our model. Like you use third party and whatever, we don't care. Go crazy. Give me back the tail, yeah. Your inner demon slip out there for a second. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, just from seeing what other gaming companies are doing, I think the way the way Games Workshop is kind of handling model bloat and stuff is, I think, the least interesting and worst way to handle it, in my opinion. Because it just doesn't feel good when your models, like, quote unquote, aren't valid anymore, right? I had a serious look at Trench Crusade last week. Looking at the minis they had. I just could not settle on one faction, so I didn't get any. Yeah. I haven't gotten any yet either. I also couldn't really decide on a faction. And I might not get any at all. But I think it looks cool. It sounds like a cool like setting. And like I said, they have some really nice and like refreshing takes on like miniature wargaming and stuff. Like their stance on 3D printing, their stance on you know, using third-party minis, that kind of stuff is all like really nice from a hobbyist perspective. It opens a lot of doors that Games Workshop actively fights to like keep shut. And in addition to that, it's a it's a skirmish game, which is good and bad. Good because it has like an easier bar for entry. Bad because, well, I like. What is this piece? Bad because I like really big war machines and monsters and tanks. So, and you kind of lose that with. What? Oh, I think this piece is supposed to go inside the snake. I guess I didn't need it. I guess it was optional. It's definitely not going inside the snake now. Lamau. W optional piece. I'll wait till this thing is dry before I really start scraping mold lines and stuff. That doesn't fit. No, and like I can kind of. Let me see if I can get it on camera. You can kind of see the place where it's supposed to go. But like also, it's gonna go on a base like this, right? So like, you're not really gonna notice that it's not there. I just think it's kind of funny. I just didn't use one of the pieces. Which is like Lamau. If you ever manage to get your hands on the Desecrated Saint model, I would love to watch you paint that model. Let me see this Desecrated Saint model here. Oh yeah, I remember that one. That one looks really cool. It's like, cause the Saints are kind of like, they're kind of like the Primarchs from 40K, and so like a Desecrated Saint is kind of like a Chaos Primarch. Which is cool. At least that's the vibe I got from the one Trench Crusade story time I listened to. But yeah, let's see. What other models was I looking at for Trench Crusade? All right, sorry, I was just refreshing myself on some of the models from Trench Crusade. The Plague Knight, yeah, the melee version of the Stigmatic Nun. I was looking at the Stigmatic Nun. I was actually thinking that, like, if I were to get into Trench Crusade, probably the Trench Pilgrims are what I would go for. I think they have some of the more interesting ones. Specifically, I like the really pointy hats that they have. The War Prophets, the Shrine Anchorites, the Stigmatic Nun. They got some cool ones. And then from, like, the Iron Sultanate, they had the Jabirian Alchemist and the Lion of Jabir. That were really cool. They also had, like, an assassin. Yeah, it's just called the Assassin of the Iron Sultanate. I thought were cool. So I think the Iron Sultanate and the Trench Pilgrims, I thought, had the cooler models. The Sniper Priest, yeah, the Sniper Priest was funny. The Heavy Flamer Anointed from the Heretic Legion? Yeah. The Heretic Legion was also very cool, actually. Now that I'm looking at them again. Yeah, they have stuff like the artillery witch, the anointed heavy flamer, the death commando. All very cool, for sure. Alright, apparently I gotta focus up because I'm leaving whole pieces out of the minis. What I really should have done is I should have kept the box for reference. I've been trying to cut down on the number of boxes in my house. Because I always have a lot of boxes that I keep around for like no reason, right? So I've been trying to get better about kind of like getting rid of them quickly. To make sure I don't like pile up with a bunch of like random boxes in my house for no reason. But yeah, in case you didn't notice the trend, I am essentially building up a Sylvaneth army with Malifaux miniatures. The Fae and the Swamp factions just scratch that itch, you know? More Sylvaneth. Yeah, Sylvaneth from a different game company. You know, it turns out they're just as annoying to build. With all the spindly bits that'll snap off if you look at them too hard. Yep. The exact same. Sorry bad on the topic. Really want to go Bretonia. Simple models, less packed with detail. They do have a lot of. They are packed with a pretty good amount of detail. I do think that the Old World Empire has less detailed minis. Specifically, like your rank and file troops will be a lot less detailed. I think maybe your best bet, though, if you're going for, you know, less detail packed, is probably gonna be Tomb Kings. But you know, with Tomb Kings, you're kind of committing to a lot of bone. You can get some, like you will get some variation out of like the Ushabti. I don't know what they're called. The Ushabti Guard. Not sure what that's what they're called. And the Necropolis Knights are another one. The Necropolis Knights are like the snake riding skeletons. But I think that's the only variation that you'll get from painting bone. But I mean, if you're down to paint a lot of bone, like It could be a sorry, this model's legs are not going on well. Put a little more glue in there, and then the fit won't matter as much. I'm scared if I paint too much bone, I'll start liking Dark Angels. Oof. No, what's wrong with Dark Angels? Hey, whoa. But yeah, if you're looking for a good middle ground between only painting bone and something like Bretonia, where they're pretty heavy, detail-packed models, the Empire might be a good option. I'm really not sure how the Grand Cathay fits in. I'm not as familiar with those models. I was thinking elves might be able to really practice painting skin. Nice. Yeah, I mean, if you have a goal like that in mind, that's great. Although, did they bring back like something like ogre maw tribes? Or like, because like elves, yeah, you have like a lot of faces, but I don't think you have a lot of um, like other skin on the models. Not that should not to try and dissuade you from elves, but this might be something that like if your goal is to paint a lot of skin, you'll be painting a lot of faces. That's for sure. But yeah, if you when you decide on something, if you I could be convinced to pick up a model from that faction to paint up on stream. Yeah, if that'd be cool. I'm always down to pick up like a character model and paint up. As evidence of me just randomly picking up Mephiston. I hate the fact that I like all the factions, yo. I mean, they're all classics, right? And that was like the issue that they ran into, right, with Old World, is that they were all just like fantasy classics, and Games Workshop couldn't like copyright all the stuff that they were creating. But yeah, most of the factions are like, if you are a fan of the like any fantasy setting or genre, like you'll probably like the factions. Because they're all classics, and they're classics for a reason, right? They're all bangers. Think I might have to tap out and head to bed? Hey, sounds good, Dark Mage. Get some sleep. I appreciate the drink of water. Sleep on it. I wish you the best of luck in picking your Warhammer Old World faction. I look forward to seeing which one you pick. Have a nice rest of your night. What model will I be painting this weekend? I think I'm going back to the Chaos Knight Rampager. So it'll be... Hopefully I'll be able to put a lot of finishing touches on it. I don't think it'll be done because I probably won't have the base done, but if I can get most of the actual model painted up, I'll be happy. Nice. May have put down a little bit too much glue on this phase. But that's okay. Just scrape it off here. Alright. I'm probably going to be calling it here for the day. As I said, tomorrow I'll be painting my Chaos Knight Rampager on stream. Just a quick recap. I did some bases here with some cork that are drying. These are kind of the start to my swamp bases for my my swamp tree guys. And then I built some other Malifaux miniatures. So, for example, Snake and this Fey creature. I don't know what its name is, but pretty cool, part Fey, part tree creature, which is always banging. Anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your night, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!